morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Good morning, fellow Kenyans. I just want to thank you for this opportunity for tuning in during this occasion where we're launching the party, the Empowerment and Liberation Party. First and foremost, one of our core values as a party is the recognition of God. So I just want us to take just 5 minutes just to pray and just to thank God for this occasion. I would like to request Pastor Rose if she can pray on behalf of everyone else. Thank you.
Our dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we stand before you this morning to say thank you for the gift of life, thank you for families, thank you for the land of Kenya, and thank you for protection, thank you for the work you have given us. I thank you for this opportunity you have given us as we sit here and as we share many things concerning the beauties of today, the ideas of today, the values of today. Father, we recognize you that all power, authority, thrones, rulers are created by you. And that's why we are here this day to make a decision as we discuss about ELP and the party we have chosen. Father, we ask you to be our leader, to be our guide, to remember us with your favor, give us wisdom to do the things we do, and Father, give us wisdom to be leaders of difference, to be leaders of justice, to be leaders of fairness. Father, we ask you to protect us, and we declare no weapon formed against us, and that this party shall prevail against our families, against our ideas, against the work of our hands, against all that our movement. Nothing shall work. And then tongue rising up against us, we declare is condemned. We want, Father, to commit you in everything, and we ask you to be Lord. Thank you for the land of Kenya, that we are able to gather and assemble without fear and favor. We thank you for that freedom. Thank you for the peace which prevails from the top to the bottom. You are God, for you are God of all mankind. We thank you and we honor you. Be glorified. In Jesus' name we have prayed and given thanks. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Rose. Once again, I always want to thank each and every one of you for gracing this occasion. Today we want to launch the Empowerment and Liberation Party. As the name says, we want to liberate people's Kenyans' thinking, and we want to empower them. Kenya is going through a lot of changes and a lot of things which not many people are prepared for. And the solutions to this problem lie with Kenyans themselves. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the different officials of the political party. They will come and just give a brief statement about why they feel Empowerment and Liberation Party is the answer to the solutions in Kenya, and why they feel this is the party of choice. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Celestine. He's a national coordinator in Lower Eastern Region, and he's also a key official member of the NEC.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. As I said, my name's Celestine Tiso. I am the Lower Eastern coordinator of the ELP party. And today we are gathered here to launch and share the vision or some of the aspirations of our party. Basically, I would want to mention about the empowerment of our youth and women. We know we come from a country that is not, that the community is not very well empowered. But one thing that we believe in as empowerment and the liberation party is wealth is in the mindset of the people, of the community. The other day, we were in a discussion, and then I was having a discussion with some youth, and then we were trying to see how, as a youth, we can empower ourselves, because mostly there is a culture that has been cultivated in our country, and I don't believe it is the best for the economy. Where a time like now, where we are preparing to get into politics, people are trying to look which party is going to give handouts, which politician is going to give handouts, and then they align themselves behind those particular identities, which I believe is not the way, because that is not a solution to the problems that we have. Politics are seasonal, but what we are looking at is a solution to our women, a solution to our youth, empowering our people, so that every day when you wake up, you know you can earn your income through your own means. For example, if today we agree that we gather 40 million Kenyans, and we say each person to save 20 shillings, 20 shillings, 20 Kenya shillings in a day, that we used to buy soup, that we used to buy jugu, we don't see the value of the 20 shillings. But if you can get 40 million Kenyans, and they save 20 shillings in a day, that translates to 80 million in a single day. Take that in 1 month, and you have approximately 2.4 billion. With that amount, I think we can be able to roll out programs. We can be able to support our youth. We can be able to support our women, and by so doing, we shall be empowering the community at large. So that is what we are looking at as the Liberation Party, Empowerment and Liberation Party. We don't want a situation where when Mama wakes up in the morning, is thinking on where to go and get 500 shillings from politician A and B. We want a situation where when you wake up in the morning, you have your own program, well cut, and you know where to start and where to end the day. And this can only be possible if our community is well empowered. That is why today we are gathered here with one agenda of empowering our community, and that is where we are starting today. Sometimes, as human beings, we might see things are not possible. We might see hii siwezi meka. Ukiongea na mtu anakuambia, ai baba, hii ni ngumu. But it is all in the mindset. For example, every other day we have gatherings in our community. Now, instead of waking up in the morning to be in a cheering squad of that particular gathering, you need to think out of the box. The other day I was telling our youth, if there is an opportunity comes, and there's a gathering in our community, ile unga ya chapati kwa nduka 120 shillings, hata ingine ni 100. I know we can afford 100 shillings, but hiyo unga ikichanganywa na mafuta niekelewe kwa jiko, you'll make money out of it. That is a way that every youth in the community can get empowered and start somewhere. We've seen and we've read in the books where some of the prominent men and the women started. No one was born holding millions. They started somewhere. They started from the scratch. I will quote a guy I love so much, Thomas Edison, the guy who invented the bulb that we use at home. He tried 1,000 times, 1,000 times to make the successful bulb that we use today. Just think of that. 1,000 times, lakini sisi hapa ukiambiwa do this in a week or two, you're tired, you want to get out of it, unasema haina pesa. I think what we lack is the mindset. Na utajiri si ya kupewa. Mungu alibariki kila mtu na utajiri yake. It is in the mindset of every other person. So you only need to be focused and to have some patience with what you are doing. As we launch this today here, we want to remain focused. We want to work towards empowering and liberating the thinking of our communities so that they don't look live at it's something that you're supposed to be given. Lazima ushikwe mkono upelekwe pali fulani. Lazima ushikwe mkono upelekwe kwa kazi. Lazima utoe kitu kidogo ndio upate hii. You don't need to do that. If you have the right mind and you are focused, you have everything with you. So today, as we gather here, we want to encourage our people, our community, to learn how to empower ourselves from within ourselves, not externally, from within ourselves. We are lucky we born in an area that is not so badly off in the resources. For example, our Machakos count is rich with so many resources. We have water, we have land, plenty of it. So it only needs a proper mind and a focused person. And in a month or two or in a year, you become one of the few millionaires that we have in our country. But by the end of the day, we are not looking at 5 or 10 millionaires. We are looking at everyone being empowered and being able to sustain and run your life comfortably from within, so that we get out of the chains that we are in of depending on other people's wealth, which is so temporal, which cannot sustain our lives. So as a community, the women and the youth, we play a very big role in the leadership of this country. And when we are looking for these leaders, we are sometimes guided by the pesa, the handouts, and we forget the main thing that you're supposed to look into a leader. Mostly we are pushed by the poverty that has befallen us. Poverty is our issue. If we can empower ourselves from within, we'll be able to get leaders who take care of our business. Because most of our leaders that we put into power, they have no interest with our business. They have no interest with business people. Rarely do you find an area MP looking for ways on how to empower the business community. But they would want your vote. And the language is very simple. Tupatane kule, nitawapatia fare. That won't have stock in your shop. That won't have stock in your hotel. But if we can start within ourselves, that small movement that we're talking of, you'll be able to get what you need from within, but not from outside. So as I wind up, I urge and make the call that we unite as a community and get to look for ways on how we can get empowered from within, and we shall get there, God willing. Thank you.
Thank you, Celestine. I just want to highlight what you said about we are the solutions to the problems facing Kenya. There's something which he brought up which was very profound. If everybody can remove 20 shillings, if even the members of the press, thank you for removing your 20 bobs, that 20 shilling, which you think this is just fair to take me to town. This can buy me an Orbit, or it can buy me a muturia on the street or a samosa. That 20 shillings, if every single Kenyan can put that 20 shillings together, that is how much? 20 times 40 million? That is 800 million in one day. Times 30 days, that is almost 24 billion. Let me ask you people and my fellow Kenyans, if that 24 billion is directed back to the people, don't you think everybody here will be self-employed? There's something which I also want to highlight, which is profound. You should ask yourself, where are foreign investors leaving their country to come settle and start a business here in Kenya? Yet we Kenyans are going out looking for greener pastures. It means there's something here they have seen that we need to also look at. So I'd like to now introduce Mr. Beche. He's a legal coordinator within Empowerment and Liberation Party. Just to comment a few words concerning the state of the legal affairs in this nation and anything that comes upon his heart. Thank you.
Madam Chair, officials, and members of the press, good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'm happy to be here today to say a few things about poverty. He called me Mr. Mbeche, but my full name is Samson Bosire Mbeche. I come from Kisii County. The last election, I stood and I was vying for Member of Parliament for Machoge Borabu constituency within Kisii County. We tried our best, but you know how Kenya is. I cannot say that truly we lost, but things were done in the wrong way. And that's why members of the press, you need to assist us to come up with solutions. We have a challenge with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission because from time to time there is a lot of manipulation. Most of the people we claim to have been elected essentially were never elected, but they were placed in those positions because of manipulation. So we believe that in the next election, the year 2022, we'll have elections which will be above board, where every vote will be counted and you will get your votes depending on how people have decided. I decided to choose Empowerment Party for several reasons. I'm a person who is not swayed by the money people sometimes give. Sometimes I'll not be swayed by what people say. Because if you remember the last elections, we had what many people say. People promised things, but when you ask now, you'll be surprised that nothing has been done. I'll urge members of the press to be very assertive by ensuring that you question us, politicians. Sometimes you don't question us. Even when you get an opportunity to interview us, I don't know whether you get scared or maybe you get manipulated. We don't get proper results from the questions that you present to some of the politicians that we have. If I promise that I can give 10,000, 100,000 kilometers of road, let's question, has this been achieved before we can even tell the people that this person has the support? We are failing as a country because we are relying so much on lies to determine who becomes our next leader. It's high time we joined together and spoke to our people to ensure that when we tell them what we say, we mean it. It's very unfortunate that our country has reached a point where people are swayed to a certain direction because of money. Or they are swayed to a certain direction because people decide to cheat too much. Members of the press, it's high time you questioned everything that we speak. And I'm sure if you say that, a lot can be achieved. I believe in the year 2022, if we were serious, let's focus on issue-based politics. Let's avoid politics of blackmail. Because if there was a party which professed so much on blackmail to achieve its end, I'll not join such a party. Because other than being a leader, you also need to be a good example in society. I don't want to be a leader who will be associated with all bad things. Sometimes I wonder why our people make certain choices when there is a lot of mud associated with some people. It's high time we leaders and members of the press came in handy and made sure that we train our people on how to elect our leaders. I sometimes like the way the Americans or people in Europe decide. Unfortunately, last time the Americans were also confused. Sometimes they will have to question you. Last time you told us you'll do A, B, C, D. You didn't achieve this. Can you elaborate before we can think on whether we can give you the next support? I've liked the press in the outside world. I'm not saying I don't like the press here. Majority of you are doing a great job. But there are few who get manipulated. It's my appeal to you that you don't stand in that category of persons who get manipulated. Lastly, there's one thing I liked about this party, which maybe many people have not been told. When you go seeking for votes out there, it's good to identify the problems of the people. And once you identify them, look for ways of solving those problems. It will not be right to say, I'll give you maybe 10 boreholes, and I come from Kisii where there is a lot of rainfall. Sometimes we place things in the wrong position. Kisii, of course, may require boreholes, but because we are basically agricultural, when I go meet our people, I'll tell them we need to create more value addition to some of the produce we get. If you go to a market in Nairobi, you will get so many bananas, so many avocados which come from Kisii. So one question you may ask yourself is this: why is it that we don't have factories in Kisii which will create value addition to the banana? Why is it that we don't have any factory in Kisii which will extract content from the avocado and create maybe hair oil or such kind of things? We have always elected wrong persons, or IBC has assisted putting wrong persons in positions, and ultimately we have lost. And every 5 years, unfortunately, we continue crying. As we speak, the entire country is crying, but again they're making very wrong decisions. It's my prayer that as we move to 2022, we make serious decisions that will help this country to develop economically, socially, and politically, and with a lot of unity, because sometimes unity disappears during elections. Thank you so much.
Comes to you, whether under ELP and under any other political party, if they give you a promise, I want you to go home, sit down with your family, with your friends, and ask yourself, is this promise viable? Do we need a road right now? And yes, they said this road will cost this much. Does it really cost that amount of money? If they said they'll give us healthcare and they make promises of healthcare which the price is exorbitant, you should question. And once you question, that's when you decide whether you should vote for this leader or not. And to the bodies which are responsible for developing this, for regulating the electoral process, we urge you, please let it be fair, transparent, and accountable. Based on that, I'd like to introduce our Secretary General, a lady. So this is to show you that women are also very influential. I want to introduce Madam Alice, just to speak to the ladies and to the youth as well.
The party chair lady, members and the members of the press, good morning. Yeah, I'm Alice Mudeu from Machakos County, and I'm glad to be here as we launch our Empowerment and Liberation Party. And I'm here as a stakeholder to talk more about the youth empowerment. The good thing about our party is that our party focuses mostly about the marginalized people in the community, mostly about the youth and the women. When we talk about the youth, we know that the youth are the pillars of our society. We all know about that. And because the youth are the pillars of society, for them to be empowered and for them to be fruitful, they should have a conscience. And to know that all about the conscience of morals and values is the herb of development. Yes. When it comes about empowering the youth, we are talking on how our political party is going to come up with empowerment programs. One of about the empowerment sectors is the sector of economy, and the other sector is the sector of politics and the sector of education. When we talk about economical empowerment, we are talking of ways on how we are going to engage our youth for them to be productive. We are talking about how we are going to get our youth to engage into entrepreneurial activities, how we are going to impact them with skills and knowledge. Because when we talk about it right now, our country is facing a very big challenge of unemployment concerning the youth. The youth are mostly being affected by poverty. When we check about the CRB listings, we find that most of the millions are the youth. Why? Because the youths are facing unemployment. They don't have jobs to sustain their lives. They are facing scarcity of resources. And when now we channel in about our political party, we are going to come up with ways to give them knowledge and skills for them to be productive. We are going to liberate their mental conscience that it's not all about profession. They don't have to go for the 844 system for them to gain professions at the hand. They are going to go to school for them to gain knowledge that is going to enable them to be productive at the end of it all and create their own businesses and also create employment for other people. That is a good view on how and these now will enable them to attain the resources that they will implement them to bring the community development. When you talk about the education, empowering the education sector, it means that our youth will encourage or guide them to get the basic knowledge. When you think about the Nigerian system of education, they term that the 9 years of education, by the hand of it all, when you complete, you should be liberal, and at the end of it all, you should be productive in a way that you can sustain yourself in the society and you can fight poverty by your own. That is a good move. We are going to channel the youth on whereby you don't have to even to walk that further to go to the university so that for you to be productive. What you should do, the basic knowledge you have is the one that you should make it to be fruitful for you to fit in the society. The other empowerment is about the political perspective. In ones when you talk about, when we even just rewind and have a check at our leaders, we find that most of the leaders, they are not the youth, they are above the 35. Regarding Kenya, we talk about the youth is anyone below 35 years. But now when you check about our parliament and what, they are mostly people above 35 years. What are we going to do to change the mindset of the youth, to encourage them to move into the perspective of politics, for them to be responsible? We are going to impart their morals and values for them to be disciplined in the society. Whenever one is disciplined, they'll be able to channel about their conscience in being productive in the society, and they are going to be, they'll be self-oriented. They don't have to be pushed about in stealing resources. They'll be able to distribute all resources evenly to all people in the society. So when regarding our youth, and even our, not mostly about the women, but mostly about the youth, it's all about empowering them. And when the youth are empowered, they are going to be liberated. The mindset, they are going to be changed. They're not going to be the slaves of the politicians or the older generation. And I bet you are going to bring a change. We need a change. Everyone is complaining about poor leadership. Everyone is complaining about corruption. What are we going to change this mindset of all this? One is bringing new people who are the hub of morals and values, for they'll have discipline and they will not able, they'll have the urge to work on getting the resources and dividing them evenly. They'll not have the urge of just having the resources for only their self-gain. Okay. And lastly, the other thing about the youth is that we are going to give them education about professions, occupations, and businesses. One thing, we're going to bring a knowledge on in that it's not all about professions and occupations, or it's not all about the skill, only about the skilled and semi-skilled jobs. What we should do, the youth should be encouraged to venture in every field for them to try to be productive. And we bet that our party is going to bring a change at the end of it all, and the youth are going to endeavor in everything best they can. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice, for those words. I just want to also add something small, just to reiterate what she said. And I can say one thing is certain. Youth, and when I mean the youth, it's not only the youth in age, but the youth at heart. Do not let people exploit your energy, your talent, and your ambitions. Some of us were youth and were given many promises, and we have crossed the bracket of being considered the youth. And the story has been the same: youth empowerment, youth empowerment. I want to tell every youth in age and youth at heart, do not be used. Do not feel like the solution comes from the leaders. On the contrary, the leaders need you for them to enter office and empower themselves. So if they need you to enter office, does that mean that you have the power itself to cause the change? And as a party, one thing we want to request people who we say we need to support the youth. The youth have the energy, All we need and they need is the opportunity and the chance to grow. And another thing about the youth that I would like to question and pose a question to the financial institutions. Do not expect a youth, once they reach 21 or 18, whether they have a degree or not, who wants to start a business, and tell them, give us a bank statement before we support you. How do you support somebody who has no clue? You need to sit down and reevaluate your modes of supporting the youth and the women. And youth, something very important I want you to know. You are not, I respect all form of work, but you are not a kijana ya kazi. Just to sweep the streets, to cut grass. No, you are better than that. I want every single youth to do meaningful, gainful employment. And if I'll pose a question to our political leaders, and I want the youth to listen to this question. You say you have created jobs by our youth cutting grass. I do not mock the people cutting grass. I respect them. It takes a lot of courage. But lead by example. You all have children. I'd like to see your children cutting the grass, sweeping the streets, and then you tell us whether they are also vijana wa kazi. If the youth are given the same opportunities as our political leaders are given, the ones who are in office, and their children are given, I can assure you, every single youth in Kenya will be driving a V8. Isn't that true? So based on that, youth, do not be used. You have all that it takes. I'd like to introduce Mr. Mutiso to speak on behalf of the party as a NEC official. Mr. Mutiso, karibu.
Members of the press, good morning, or is it afternoon? My name is Robert Mutiso Leli. I'm a politician. I'm a NEC member of Empowerment and Liberation Party, Tujijenge. Mine is just to say what has been said, just to say the party position is we are in a situation whereby we feel that our country, our politicians have not focused where they should focus. They have focused themselves into politics, the politics which has not helped the country to grow. When you have dissimilar issues, like you have politics and then you have economics, and they are totally dissimilar, or what is dissimilar, then there is a problem. Today, when you listen to the leadership, and most leaders, whenever they are talking, they are not talking about economics. They are just talking about politics. So when you promote politics to the expense of economics, what is going to happen? We are going to get into trouble where we are now, like youth unemployment, poverty is just on the rise because our leadership are focused on politics. They have ignored completely economics, which gives us the power to move forward. And therefore, as a party, we have thought, if we do not connect ourselves and change the way politics is being done to this country is going to have problems. We care. The Empowerment and the Liberation Party stands for caring. If we don't care about this country, tomorrow you can see how it is across the country. Everywhere you go, you see youth, women, elderly people just wallowing into poverty. They're having a painful life on a daily basis. How long can it go on like this? And that's why we say we need that mental shift. It's not that we want it, but it is important if we do not change so that we can have that balance of politics and economics, then something is going to give way. What we are going through is just because of failed understanding of who we are as politicians. We have become so narrow, provincial, regulated minded that we only look at politics just for our own satisfaction, other than looking politics to empower people through various programs. Let me tell you, today, the country Kenya has enough resources, human resources and environmental resources. We have enough. We don't need any money from anywhere. All we need is to utilize the human resources and the environmental resources we have competitively to maximum profitability, and this country will move. The country will flourish. There's no question about that. The politicians have ignored. Either they go into politics for their own selfish end, or they do not know what is expected of them, and therefore they are leaving us to wallow into poverty. Time has come. This is a time to say, we Kenyans, we have to move. Politicians, they can do their bit, but through this liberation and empowerment, ni lazima tujijenge. Because tukiendelea vile tunaendelea, Kenya haitaenda mbele. Population is increasing on daily basis. On daily basis. What do we do with our children tomorrow? You youth, even we, the elderly, we are also going through the same. So there comes a time where we have to make that change, whether we like it or not, but to survive. The liberation and empowerment, it means one, God first, and Kenyans second. Other things they can take back stage, because we have to do it. And that's why we are saying we are reaching to youth and women across and other populace across the country to come together. Not that we are saying the politicians are this and this and this. No. What they are doing is what they know best. But what we want is something else, whereby now we can also sit down, everybody having eaten, having something in the pocket, and having hope that we can do it. And therefore, our encouragement is, members of the press, you are holding the country at hostage. You give so much audience to the politicians. Political world, which when you look and you listen back and forth, you hear something is not right. So we want to change that philosophy. We want to change that political philosophy to direct our energies, to direct our power into economics. And I know with God and coming together, we can change the destiny of this country. We have a destiny to create together. All is not lost. There is enough resources for this country. You yourselves and this environment. Connecting ourselves together, playing with what we have as a party, I can tell you 5-10 years, you can see people moving from that absolute poverty coming up, because the energy is with us, the power is with us, the resources are within us. Whether you're educated, whether you have degrees, we have all the energy, all the resources we have. God has given us enough. All we have not been given is that direction of we can do it. We can do it because we have what it takes. The politicians, they have taken that way. We are politicians, but we want to be a politicians of a different thinking. Because if we go that direction, we are going to hurt you, we are going to hurt this country, the country will become less competitive, and therefore at the end of the day, you know, it will be more painful. So our humble request for media is to focus and to tell politicians, if they love the country, to talk about politics, the things they want to do, which they have not done all these years. So mine is to ask you, go out there and ask, remember there is a new kid in the block called liberation and empowerment and liberation. Tujijenge na tunaweza, because tuna mambo ya kutosha, tuna ujuzi wa kutosha, tuna mali ya kutosha, Mungu ametupatia ya kutosha. Kwa hivyo tuachilie wengine wanaendelea kila wakati ukisikia ni siasa, sisi tushikane pamoja na Mungu mahali alipo, amesikia kilio yetu na anajua huu uchumi tunao na hii mashida ambayo tunayo, Mungu tukishikanisha pamoja atatuinua. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mutiso. I want also to add something a bit to what he has said. He said Kenya has all the natural resources that we need. When people think about natural resources, they think about land and trees and agriculture and coffee. But I want to give everybody a homework. And I want to thank the administration of His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta with regard to the Ministry of Mining. If you can take some time and go to the Ministry of Mining web portal, you'll be surprised that all the minerals that are found on the periodic scale are actually found in Kenya. And when I mean all the minerals, I mean all the minerals except diamond. People focus on gas and oil, but there's a lot of gold in Kenya. There's a lot of uranium. There's a lot of minerals, and there's a lot of mapping that is happening in Kenya. That shows Kenya has the resources that we need. Another thing, perhaps, as he said, let's forget politics, the politicians who keep on politicking. Unfortunately, the Kenya political scenery is like a soap opera. If you miss to watch a soap opera in the course of the evening, just watch Kenyan political news. It does not make sense, and it does not give any solution. And the best way to finish this soap opera is just to tune off and tune on something which is productive and which can give us solutions, which can build this nation. I'd like to introduce Mr. Mateka. He has a few words he wants to say to us as we move towards winding up the meeting. Thank you.
My name is Alvin Kioko. I'm a social entrepreneur and I'm Kenyan by birth, and I live in Machakos County. I have very few words for today, and my main aim is to tell you that as a country, we are in the second phase. The first phase was a political liberation, which was around 58 years ago. And from it we got democracy, which is a government by the people. From it we got everything that we are doing. And today, I would like to commend all those that took part. But now we are entering another phase called empowerment phase. And just allow me to draw a parallel between USA and Kenya. Just 2 weeks ago, you saw Richard Branson, you saw the owner of Amazon, going for space exploration. They are in the phase of space tourism, but we are in the phase of empowerment. So I would like to call upon each member, I would like to call upon every Kenyan to come and join hand in hand with this party, so that together we can empower each other. Let me also quote the words of the late Dr. Miles Monroe, whereby he said, the richest place on earth is not in the gold mine, it's not in the lakes, it's not in the diamond zone, but it is in the cemetery. Why? Because in the cemetery we find unfinished businesses, we find unwritten books, we find dreams that were never empowered. And so, as Kenyans, it's now time. This is a call to you, that let us now come together. Let us now unite. Let us come together with one vision of empowering each other. And through that, I can assure you, down the line, you will see the fruit. The other thing I would like to bring to you, this is not a party that will end at the ballot. This is a party that it has started its journey. This is not a race. This is not a 100-meter race. This is a journey that will take some decades. So we are not coming here just to finish with you at the ballot box. No, we are starting with you at the ballot box. And if you can join us, I can assure you there's a new Kenya. Lastly, let me mention the words of Martin Luther King Jr. He said he was at the mountaintop. He was at the mountaintop. And today I want to assure you, the founders of this party are at the mountaintop. They have seen a new Kenya. They have seen a new people. They have seen a new youth. They have seen a new women. So it's your call now to join us at the mountaintop so that we can bring this vision into fulfillment. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Alvin. He has said so much. There's a gentleman, he's on his way, but he just wanted me to give a few words with regard to the medical profession. He's a doctor by profession, and he just told me to share to his colleagues this message. And as a doctor, he has seen a lot what the medical professions are going through. And when I mean as a medical profession, I'm talking about nurses, I'm talking about dentists, I'm talking about bed attendants, I'm talking about clinical officers, surgeons, and support staff in the hospital system, in the medical health system. One thing, and also let's not forget the lab technicians. One thing about our Empowerment and Liberation Party, we believe in the importance of good health care in the country. You can't have a productive country where the citizens are sick. You see what Corona has done in this land. People value health, and because they value their health, they rather forfeit wealth to ensure that they have health. And in spite of all the wealth, you can't enjoy it without health. And that's why we would like to welcome the medical fraternity into this party. One thing we notice as Empowerment and Liberation Party, the reasons why our healthcare systems are not working, the reason why the medical profession are not heard, because they have no one in the leadership circle who can relate and understand their challenges. Yes, they can say go through the unions, but you can see unions can do so much. One thing the medical profession, I can request to them, you are part of the solution to this nation. It is very unfortunate that medical people have to go through 6 years, 5 years studies, and after going through 6 and 5 years of their studies, they earn a salary which is just a mockery. It is even better to decide, I'm not going to study medicine, I'm just going to do business and still earn the same amount of money or much more. And in spite of all that study, the government and our leaders do not give them an opportunity to exploit their talents. Kenyans, as we have seen earlier, that 40 million Kenyans can raise 24 billion in a month, which is enough to build the Nairobi Expressway in every single county. Why can't we have the same national hospitals in all over Kenya? Now, you might say that medics don't play a role, but when everything went sour in this country, we were relying on the healthcare workers. Something which is very important I'd like to highlight, it's all about directing our resources in the right direction. If you look at Western countries, medics and medics are paid Kenya shilling equivalent to 400,000. But if you come to Kenya, a starting medic will start with 25,000 Kenyan shillings. Now, what does that mean? Many of our skilled medics are leaving Kenya to go abroad, leaving a shortage of unqualified people here. Consequently, we don't get the proper healthcare services. And that's why we really need to reevaluate our choices. We need to reevaluate the way we are distributing resources. And something which is very important, and I want Kenyans to listen carefully to this. Question how the resources are utilized. I'll give an example. Most people are aware of a V8 costing 18 Kenyan million shillings. Do you know one dialysis machine costs 1 million shillings? That is equivalent to 18 dialysis machines, meaning healthcare can be brought to the people at the grassroots level. So with those few words, I would request medics feel at home. This is your party of choice. I would like to also take this opportunity to introduce the guest of honor of this meeting, Madam Rose. She's the party leader. She's a woman. This is a season, I believe, for women to be empowered and take positions of authority. Madam Rose, I'd like to welcome you. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I greet you in the name of Jesus. You are welcome. And if you at home, this is home. Amen? This is home. My name, as you have been told, my name is Rose Mulo from Machakos County, and I'm a mother of 4. Their own graduates. I think my last born is 35 or 34. And I've got a medical background. I'm a pastor, and I'm a single mother by choice. Divorced after 25 years of marriage by choice. I'm teaching you how to change mindset. I walked out, I was not chased. After a wedding of 25 years. And I'm the chairperson of this Empowerment and Liberation Party. I've got a heart for the youth, and it's very interesting. I'm so much concerned about male child. I'm a mother of two daughters, 2 sons, 3 advocates, 1 ICT with masters. The thing is, I keep on asking why I love taking care of the youth. I keep on asking myself, where do our sons go to when they are oppressed? Our daughters will say, I will attach myself to a very rich man, or I will keep one young one as a boyfriend and a rich one as my sponsor. This is very serious. In fact, I don't need to read. I was writing this, but I don't need to, because I have the experience. And I grew up in Machakos, but I can say now I'm a nationalist because sometimes I take even 5 years without going to Machakos, as near as it is. I'm also a business person in real estate. Why did I form this ELOP? That was 2017. Empowerment and Liberation Party was formed in 2017. And why I thought of this party is because since 2009, I mean 92, I was involved in politics, and I started being approached by the system behind the scene. And through the years, I've seen there are some areas of human beings who are Kenyans who are never considered. And this is why I came up with this ELOP. Because one thing, I believe everybody should be able to meet their basic needs. I hate poverty. And when you read the Bible now, you will find in the book of Proverbs 27, it says, they are always masters of the poor. That is, the poor will always serve the rich. And then you also go and read the book of Colossians, chapter 1, 15, 16. And it says, God himself created everything, the seen and unseen. 16 says, even he created rulers, authorities, powers, and he created thrones. He created state house, white houses, that kind of thing. That means if he created everything, he created the trees, the oxygen, the food we eat. So, how does this come in? You have to choose to take the right food and eat. Medical people, they tell us if you underfeed or feed the wrong food, malnutrition, and many other things, complications like diabetes. If you overeat, obesity. The same thing, if he created everything, he also created oxygen. That is, you can choose to breathe oxygen for yourself, or if you are challenged medically, you are going to be given oxygen to survive. And now we know why oxygen is important. Because when somebody gets COVID and is sick, we are hearing the shortage of what? Oxygen. Yet it is free. Why am I talking like this? Because you can decide ujipange au utapangwa. You decide to keep yourself safe. That's why we are wearing masks, keeping distance, or utapangwa na you'll be forced and being given oxygen yourself. The same way, the power and authority God has given us, we have to take authority. Power is taken. As you have decided to take oxygen, you must decide to take oxygen. Power, you must decide to take authority. You must decide to go and sit where you want to sit. You don't want to be given. That is where our politicians are saying, tujipange au tutapanga. So based on this, I decided I have to plow something back to the country, to the Kenyans, and that's why I came with this Empowerment and Liberation Party. And I realized whether you come from the eastern, western, central, the problem is one: poverty. Anybody without money ataambiwa kuja pande hii tukutane, you go running. Kuja pande hii tukutane. But when you have money, you tell people come, they come. Go there, they will go. And that's why you see people are following the wind. They are expecting something small. But I want us to know that a time must change, come. We must now wake up. Paul told the people in Romans, he told them, you must now awake. You have been sleeping. The youth of this nation, both men and women, you have to wake up now. Because one thing, we are advantaged. The system, we are going to have end of one system to enter to another one. And that's why somebody said it's another phase. We're going to another phase. And this one, if the youth don't take it, if you are 20 now, forget about it. Because by the time they get out of the office, those, the corrupt one, or those who are not for the youth, you will not be a youth anymore. And that's why we came up with this party. And I thank the team, and I thank the media for coming to grace the occasion. Many people don't know me. If they see me, I tell them I am a Sudanese. They'll think I'm a Sudanese. Because nobody knows me. If I say I'm from Tanzania, they'll say, yeah, it is true. Because nobody cares about another one. But now we have to take it ourselves. Because we have now to wake up and on this country. Our mission of this party is to provide a political platform for equal and fair competition to those willing and ready to serve, to manage and distribute national resources with discipline. Our party, we don't want to antagonize anybody. We are not going to be abusive. We are going to work as gentlemen, and we are going to succeed because we don't want to abuse anybody to be noticed. Our vision is to provide good governance, especially in the protection of resources, so as to eliminate poverty and unemployment. This is very important because without good governance, charity begins at home. When I became a single mother, my firstborn was second year at School of Law, Nairobi. Second one was just joining Chiromo. Third one was at Kianda, Form 2. The last one was 10 years. And now they are all graduates from Nairobi University. You have to be disciplined so that you can be able to move. Charity begins at home. I'm teaching the youth, we go back to the basics. And we are not going to be moved by what we see or what we feel. Of course, when you change your mind, and your mind is changed, many friends are going to leave you. When you tell people, I found a place where we are liberated, and they will tell you, we don't know what you are talking about, you have lost your head. Many told me I've lost my head, but now they look for me for a cup of tea. I told them I don't have the time. It is going to come a time when the youth are going to be very busy if they borrow that dream God has given me. Our vision, I told you, it is to provide resources and make sure that people are employed. Because unemployment is a problem in this country. We wait 5 years. After I'm getting 1,000 in the pocket, you are supposed to wait for 5 years. You don't need to wait for 5 years. You don't need to be employed. I want this party, we have a team when we have put things together. We want to change the mindset completely and come up with the research centers. We come back up with things, money generating opportunities. Our core values, value for God. Without God, we can do nothing. And we know very well this is very well because this time, whether you are money or not, COVID-19 does not know money, doesn't know every pocket. It is God first. With God, you can do all things. And our party welcomes all religions. We don't discriminate. We have everybody. You are Kenyan, you come and join us. Another core value is value for people. It is very hurting. Sometimes I say I wish I could do more. I'm not looking for school fees. I'm not looking for rent. I'm not looking for a car. But every day I look for a person to lift. Like somebody said, now we are talking from the mountaintop. Maybe 20 years ago we could be talking from down there, but we are talking from informed position. So I want us to join this party. And when we join this party, with numbers, we are going to excel. With numbers, we can go very far. Another core value is of equality. We are all equal. Before God and before the fact that we are in Kenya, we deserve the best. I'm sure some of you, if you go and say you are an American and you change your tone, your accent, they'll say, yeah, you are an American. But we are all Kenyans. There should not be some who are less privileged. When I move around in the counties, 2017 I assisted the government in some counties, and I went around. Up to now, you go and find grass thatch houses, and you are buying somebody a water tank to collect water. You say you want to, you go cheating people. You want to buy them water tanks for water collection during the rain, but then the roof is grass. You wonder what? I think with this party we want to set our priorities right. We want to engage the youth, the women, the disadvantaged. We engage and we go around and we see how can we change this country. I worked abroad, but I've never seen a better country than Kenya. Another value is truth and justice. I think our legal executive has spoken about that one. We want justice. We want to streamline justice because the only thing God likes when He created us, justice, mercy, that is very important. But we have seen somebody does wrong things, but because they have the money, they can buy justice. We want to install justice. Value for life, health, safety, and prosperity in the land. Those are very important things. Our party, ELP, we believe in living and competing in harmony, peacefully, respectfully with other parties. We are not fighting anybody. I'm being a party member of other parties. I've assisted other leaders who are already existing, but I realized this time I come out. Instead of always assisting and pushing from the back, I come in front. And the reason is, I feel it is time to hand over the mantle to the next generation, to the youth. And when I say youth, I mean men, women, and the youth who are young at heart. As for me, there are some people who are 20 years old, but they are older than me because I'm very youthful at heart. Even when I'm dealing with the youth, I find some I can't cope with them. They are 20 years, they are 30 years, but they are too old for me in their mind. I cannot connect. So I'm talking of anybody who want to change their life. A poor man has no brother. We want to empower people economically. There are certain groups we want to recognize in this party. And I've talked about the youth, both male and female. I also want to encourage, and I want all the youth to join this party. The people want to have their life changed, join this party, and we are going to have celebrities. There is another group of people we call silent sufferers in our party. Silent sufferers, There are people who are in this country and they are well educated, they are well behaved, they are disciplined, but they have been forgotten. Nobody cares about them. They are suffering quietly. They don't know how to hear their views. ELP is a place for such a people to come out. Very educated people. They are suffering, they are gentlemen, they are ladies. They don't even want to go and beg because of their integrity. They don't want to express their suffering. But you see somebody just walking and thinking, we want to reach these ones, and wherever you are, we want you to join. And this is a place where you'll have a voice, and we'll set programs for such a people, we'll set funds aside for such a people where they can do business, and they will tell us what they want to do. They are also the disabled. Nobody talks about them. I think we need also to encourage them to join this party. We also, I pay special attention to the single mothers because of the experience I went through to put my children through university. And thank God, they are all out. Self-employed, they don't want employment. They are self-employed even if you offer them job today. I want the single mothers. I know there are more than 8 million in Kenya. I have a data of them. There are more than 8 million. They could be 15 million. And their families to join ELP. And you will see the difference because I'm leading by example. And I know we will succeed. Where a single mother will go, a single father will go. Whether by death, whether by divorce, whether by choice. If you join as you are a single parent, join this party, and your story will change overnight. I'm telling you, we will take these votes. We will take from the MCA to the top by 9 a.m. in the morning because we are the numbers. Let us not be misused. Let us not be misled because all we need are numbers to change. The resources are there, but the management, we are going to set good management. And the experts in this party will show us what to do. I'm also calling those who are abroad, Kenyans abroad, you join us and we do the needful. I'm saying this because when you think the population of Kenya, a big percentage is youthful people and women. And then you wonder somebody saying, there are so many, there are very few youth and women who are old positions. I want now things to change. Normally you hear a woman is being nominated and it's like favor. There's not going to be favor anymore. It's going to be by right. Tables are going to change. We will give men maybe that percent. We'll negotiate. We'll negotiate. I don't want to take much of your time because I think every big thing has been spoken because we seem to be having the same ideas, and I don't want to keep the press for a long time. But my plea is to all Kenyans who want to change their lives. Please join ELP, Empowerment Liberation Party, and you never regret. If you want to be a member, you can contact us on our website. We have got our contact on our website. If you want to be you can register as a member. If you want to be a candidate to participate 2022, you can also contact us on the website, and our contacts are, the website is www.elp.or.ke or www.itisourcountry.or.ke. Our phone number is 0745 434229. I repeat, 0745 434229. Remember, united we stand, and the ground but divided will fall. Again, over and over again, if we divide, we'll scatter. Kenyans, let us pull hands together and make the change of this nation. Once again, I thank you, all of you, for coming. And thank you, media. Thank you, staff. And thank you, all the members. And thank you for the candidates. We have those who want to be MPs, MCS, senators, governors, and the other positions who announce. Our offices are here in Karen. You can always call us anytime, and you are welcome. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair Lady. Thank you as well for the fourth estate for attending this function. Also to thank the NEC officials, and above all, to thank the fellow Kenyans who have been listening to this message by this political party. To the women who are out there, you have a home, you have a party, and there's something very important that the Chair Lady had mentioned earlier, that women constitute 50% of the population of Kenya. And something very interesting, which I also want to ask the women to think about. Do you know 70% of the voter turnout in every general election are women? 70%. And yet the irony, out of that 70%, only 10% of those elected positions go to women. Why can't women unite and work together? Because if you can unite and work together, I can assure you, instead of seats of called women rep seats, I think men will be the ones who will be marginalized, and they'll have to create a seat called men representative seats. And also to the women, I'd like to encourage you. There is no difference between a man and a woman. When you go to school, when you go to use a public vehicle, are you given a lesser amount of fee to pay because you're a woman? Are you told to pay less school fees because you're a woman? That is to show that women, you have all that it takes. And with Empowerment and Liberation Party, we're giving women an opportunity and a chance to vie. Whether you want to vie as an MCA, go for it. An MP, go for it. A governor, go for it. And even as a presidential candidate, go for it. And if you go for it, you can get it. If you decide today morning that as women, and I want to give a test to all women. As you can see, our party colors are royal blue. That is to show everybody is royalty in this land. And I'll encourage women, if you feel that you're few in number, just one day wear royal blue, whether it's a jumper, whether it's a blouse, whether it's a scarf. And as you walk in town, you'll see how many you are. And I encourage you, get involved in politics. Do not be called side ladies, slay queens. No, get involved in active politics. I want to emphasize that women, you are very powerful, and you don't realize it. There's one lady who I respect in this country. Not many people talk about her, but I feel she should be given the recognition that she deserves. And this lady is Her Excellency Mama Ngina Kenyatta. Nobody talks much about her, nobody hears her, but it's something you don't realize. This lady, one, is a woman. Number two, she's a single mother as a result of the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta passing on. And this lady has managed to keep her family together. This lady has managed to give us 2 presidents and a sitting president, one who is completing his 2nd term. And this lady has established a big business empire. And ladies, I want to pose this question to you. This lady, Her Excellency Mama Ngina Kenyatta, is able to send terror and fear and respect amongst men. When men hear her name, they fear her and they respect her. And she's what? She's a woman. And this is a message to all women. If this lady can hold this country together for more than 60 years, until men in power, men in influence are afraid of her, that is a message to all women in this land and in the world. You have all it takes to make it big in this land. And I encourage you as women, you do not be intimidated by handouts. Do not rely on false promises. Just go for it and get it. I'll just close with this one remark to the women of Kiambu County. It's a surprise that out of all the MCS seats in Kiambu County, and I respect the women of Kiambu County and every other county, they're very hardworking. But why is it as women you only have one MCA woman and one nominated MCA? Does that mean women are not able to lead? You need to change the narrative, and I believe this is your time and this is the opportunity. Once again, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank all Kenyans. And as ELP, let's build Kenya together. Kenya, as you can see, empowerment and liberation to Jijenge. And you can see it's our country. Kenya is our only home, and it's our only country. Let's build it together. Let's enjoy it. And let our children as well enjoy it. And let even the elderly who came before us, our parents, also enjoy the fruits of this land. Thank you once again, and God bless you all, and have a beautiful day. Thank you. And yes, and in case you want to reach the political party, the numbers are 0745 42 4543 4229. You can also visit our website www.elp.or.ke. If you are aspirant, please feel free to contact us. We'd like to sit down to you. And we're requesting any aspirant can come on condition you're not going to be oppressive and unruly, because we have to show discipline at our place. If you don't have any political ambition, I request all Kenyans partner with us. There are many ways you can partner with our program so that we can change the numbers. And there's two things I'll say before I take the questions. I'm sorry, I think I've become a politician, but there are two things I just want to say. As stated earlier, a rich man does not listen to a poor man, but dictates to them. Each and every one of you, let's be the rich men in this country so that we can change the direction of this country. And something very important to any politician who is vying and anyone who is listening to their political leaders, do not accept a political leader who says he has gone to the forest to hunt and comes back with a goat. He is just cheating you. There are no goats in the forest. So based on that, I welcome the press to ask any questions. Feel free, ask as many as you want. Yes.
We actually want very brief answers. My name is Dan.
Yes, Dan.
I work for Kameme FM.
Yes.
My question goes to the party leader.
Yes.
And do you have a plan to field a candidate in the 2022 presidential election?
Yes, I do.
And then my second question will have to be, you can probably answer them all together. And how are you planning as far as registration of members in the party across the country, and how many members do you intend to reach?
Yeah, the question is straightforward. We are going to have a presidential candidate. We will not have one, we can have several. They come and compete, because our mission is that we have to provide equal platform where people can compete. So we are going to have whoever comes. We don't want to lock anybody out. Ours, we are liberated. We are not afraid. Let them come and compete, and we educate them about elections, and they will compete fairly. And we don't mind the region. So far we have got one presidential candidate, a lady from Central, but the others who still are coming. So the next meeting and the next press conference, we will call you we will be now unveiling our candidates. Today we do not want to unveil them today. About registration, we are registering people in the, to have a political party, you must have registered people in 24 counties. We already have passed that and we have got a green light with our people. That is
How many members so far?
that 5,000. We have 800,000. In fact, no. By yesterday we have 1 point something. We are many. But we are now going to start the online registration of members.
Should we
That's why
probably,
we have unveiled and launched the party so that people now can start registering. We
Should
have
we-
got a lot of inquiries. So I wanted people to know nationally that we are ready now to kick off.
should we probably expect a merge with other political parties in the country?
As I said, we are not fighting any existing political party. We are not competing unfairly, but we want to work together with other political parties who are existing. And the idea is, I'm calling the women and the youth, if we are going to march, we go and we have a voice to reckon with. And we become a force so that when we go to the table, we can negotiate and we can have influence of the management. So we are not ruling out other political parties. We have to work. We are Kenyans and we are not fighting them. Yeah.